I'm Kirsten Boisard.
I'm Emily Frazier.
And we're
seniors on the Russia Cross Country team. And you're watching Fish Report Live.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio, it's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. It is Wednesday night, October 16th. My name is Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. Heavy D's back with us again this week. Ken took last week off. He's back in the sound room with TK. We're going to be talking to those guys here in just a little bit. And, I was thinking before tonight's show, this is our third season of Fish Report Live, and I don't think we've ever talked Tiger Ball in 3 seasons on this show.
You know what, Craig? I think you're right, and it's time we break at. So tonight we're really looking forward to talking Versailles Tiger football. They've been on a roll here lately, Craig. They started the season out a little rough, but we're going to have the head coach of the Tigers, Adam Miller, on the line with us here in just a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to talk football, and then we're also going to be talking some Russia cross country, girls cross country in particular. And we've covered pretty much every Russia sport this season, with the exception of girls cross country. That changes tonight too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We're really looking forward to talking to the Russia girls. They've got a phenomenal team again this year, Craig. They've been ranked in the top 10 in the state all year, and it's just a great tradition that Coach Foster built with that program. And really looking forward to that tonight.
All right, well, before we get to all that, just like we do every week, let's get to our weekly trivia question. What do you have for me tonight?
Well, Craig, you mentioned Tiger Ball. We're talking Versailles football, so here's the question. Now, how many state championships have the Versailles Tigers won in football?
Oh.
Now, okay. I know you go to Versailles a lot.
Yeah, I sure
Every
do.
time you drive into Versailles, you should read the sign, and it'll tell you.
I know exactly where it's at. I can picture the sign.
And you probably are going to have a lot of friends out there helping you tonight. So the question is, how many state championships have the Tigers won in football?
All right, well, I'll have to reach out to my Twitter followers for that. I know a couple of Versailles guys that like to tweet, and I'm sure I'll be getting an answer from them. So I'm going to send that out on Twitter, Ken, and we're going to see what kind of help I can get. So we'll get to see if we can get that answer by the end of the show here. All right, well, let's move on and talk some football, and let's get to the MAC standings. Why don't you go over those for our viewers real quick?
All right, Craig. Well, big game Friday night. We've got Marion Local taking on Coldwater, the top 2 teams in the MAC, Craig. That's going to be a real shootout there. And, look for a great football game there. Minster sitting at 3rd place, Craig, at 4-1. They've been the beneficiary of some good wins this year. And Delphus St. John's and Versailles both at 3-3. Those are the top teams in the MAC this year. So, just to show the balance of the MAC and how strong it is from top to bottom, you've got Anna, St. Henry, 2 very good traditional football teams, both sitting at 1-4. So, big game in Versailles Friday night, and as well as a big game among the 2 top teams in the MAC, Marion Local and Coldwater.
Well, last week on the show, we talked Fort Laramie football with Coach Matt Burbacher, and we also talked MAC football with Ethan Wolf. Our guest tonight actually was an assistant under Coach Burbacher and now is coaching in the MAC. I believe we have him live on the phone right now. He's the head coach of the Versailles Tigers, Adam Miller. Coach, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, at the top of the show, Ken mentioned you kind of got off to a rough start this season, started out 0-3, but since then you've won 3 out of 4, and I got to think that slow start had to do a little bit with injuries. I know you had 3 key guys out. Luke Paulus had an arm injury. Moose Derringer, I know, had a concussion, and Evan Flippo actually appeared to have a kind of a horrible arm injury, but all 3 of those guys are back now. Has been getting healthy been part of the challenge over there at Versailles?
I think it has. I think it's definitely played a factor. All the guys that you mentioned, obviously are starters, but they play very key roles in what we want to do. So having them back has been great. We feel like the guys that took their places when they left did a great job of stepping up. But it's nice to see people come back from injury. They love playing football. It's nice to get them back on the field.
All right. Well, other than getting back to health, why have you been so successful here these last couple games?
I think if you look at the beginning of our schedule, I mean it was brutal with the caliber of teams that we played. Looking at their records, I think Salina has one loss, Valley View just got one loss, Coldwater has one loss, Marion Local is undefeated. So we played some really really tough teams, and I think we still play some tough teams to finish out our schedule. I think that has played a role in it, and I also think we harp on the kids all year long. We want to see improvement every single week, and I think we've seen that. I think the kids have stepped up. They've worked hard. Things are paying off, and we're starting to execute better.
Coach, hi. This is Ken, and you've got Delphos St. John's coming to town Friday night. You've got two very evenly matched teams. Your records are the same. You've played common opponents in the MAC, and it's just a game on paper that it looks like it's going to be very evenly matched. What's it going to take for the Tigers to come out on top?
I think the big thing is who's going to play sound fundamental football for 48 minutes. Like you said, I think teams are both evenly matched. They've got two great running backs. I feel like we've got skilled players that are just as dangerous as offensive weapons, and it may come down to just who makes more plays than the other team, and it may end up only being the winner may only end up making one more play than the losing team, but I think it'll be a great battle Friday night.
Coach, speaking of the game Friday night, when you look at the computer rankings, this game is going to have huge implications. It's kind of like a playoff game, maybe. If you win, you've got a good shot. If you don't win, you're probably going to not make the playoffs. How do you approach this game with that on the line?
It definitely feels like a playoff atmosphere, in the fact that we feel like we need to win out to have a shot. With already having 4 losses, we feel we can't afford another game to stay in contention. But we tell the kids all the time, you can only play one game at a time. After we lost to Marion Local, we're sitting at 1-4, and we said there's no reason we can't rattle off 5 wins to finish the season 6-4 and give ourselves a shot at the playoffs. But really, it all comes down to we're focused on Delphos. That's the team we got to beat. If we want to end up at 6-4, we got to beat Delphos first.
Another interesting note about playing Delphos, Coach, it's actually where you played your high school football at. I'm sure you'll have some family, some friends, some ex-teammates at the game Friday night. Would you rather them just stay home and listen to this one on the radio?
I'd rather have them there. You'd love to have the big atmosphere. My parents, they'll sit on the Versailles side, and a lot of my friends are. It seems like they're involved with football in other places, so I don't think any of them will be there. But there's still a lot of people that I know back in Delphos, and it's a neat atmosphere. And last year we were very close to winning, and hopefully we can pull it off this year.
All right, Coach, listen, hey, one more question and we'll let you go. I was actually talking to a Marion Local fan earlier this season, and he told me that, believe it or not, he said that Versailles has the best field around, and I asked him why he said that. He said just because of the atmosphere. He said without a track there, it seems like the fans are right there on the field. It's a real intimate feel there, and I want you to talk about the facilities over there a little bit. I mean, it's a pretty special place, isn't it?
It is. It is a very special place, and I know Versailles hasn't always been known to be the best facility around, especially field condition-wise, but all of that stuff that has been done, all the improvements, is really through volunteer work. We got a group of fantastic guys called the Friends of Whole Field that after one game, I think it was back in 2004, where the field conditions were just terrible, they decided we need to do something about this. They raised money, they got the field fixed, and then from there they had a plan of how they wanted things to be. They got a new locker room, new concession stand. We just put up new bleachers. Some guys play some big roles. Tom Donnelly, Mike Poling does a lot. Actually, Eric Knopp is the groundskeeper out at Stillwater Valley Golf Course, and he helps take care of our field, and it looks like a fairway coming into every season, and it's still in great shape now. So, I think we have some of the best facilities, especially at our level of football, and like I said, a lot of that credit goes out to a lot of the local people in the Versailles community that take pride in the football program and made it where it is today.
All right, well, I certainly agree with you. I've been there, and I certainly agree with what you say there. And you know what, Coach? Since we don't have a football team over here in Russia, I think we're going to be pulling for you guys on Friday night. And just want to say good luck Friday. Good luck the rest of the season. And thanks for joining us tonight on Fish Report Live.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Coach.
Thanks.
All right, Ken, that was the head coach of the Versailles Tigers. And I want to ask you, we was talking to Coach Miller, though, about playoffs. Looking at the rest of their schedule, what's your opinion? You think they can rattle off 3 more wins here?
Well, Craig, I think they can. They've got a big game against Delphos St. John's Friday night. Like Coach said, you got to take them one at a time. But then after that, they got to go to Minster, and then we got St. Henry at home. So it's not going to be easy for Versailles to roll off 3 straight. But believe me, they actually can. And if they do, being in the region that they're in at 6-4, Craig, they've got a great chance of making the playoffs. And once you make the playoffs, Craig, everybody is 0-0, so you're starting from scratch.
That's right. And I was actually told by a few insiders over there in Versailles that the region isn't maybe all it's cracked up to be there. So if they could make the playoffs, maybe there's a good chance they could advance a couple games as well. So.
And when you look at like Coach said, the beginning of their schedule when they started out 1-4, losing to Salina, that was actually the only home game. They actually lost at Valley View, at Coldwater, and at Marion Local. So you're talking some of the top programs in the state right there. So they've had a tough schedule, and if they can make the playoffs, I think that tough schedule will give them benefits during playoff season.
All right, well, I want to go back to the sound room now. And guys, we started out the interview asking Coach Miller about injuries. Ken mentioned that big game Friday night, the Coldwater Marion Local game. I know injuries is going to play a part in that matchup. And Heavy D, I'd like to ask you for an injury report on the Marion Local Flyers. I know they have a running back over there that was on the sidelines last week, and certainly their star quarterback, Adam Berkey, was on the sidelines as well. What do you know about Adam?
Yeah, Adam had injured his throwing hand 2 weeks ago and had surgery on his hand. Actually, first they set it, put it in a cast, took some X-rays of it, didn't like what they saw, so they took the cast off, put a couple pins in. So he was in street clothes last week and might see some street clothes again this week. But you got to look at the big picture. He's signed in at Pitt, and hopefully he can get back for the playoff run. All depends on if the doctor clears him or not, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, we want to wish him the best of luck getting back to health. And TK, that game is kind of a big game for Marion, isn't it? They certainly want to win that, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do, Craig. Football, unlike a lot of other sports, it's not just wins and losses, it's quality of wins. There's points and all that on the line, and it's about as confusing as thermodynamics when you look at it from the outside, from a simple town where you don't have football. But there's about 5 teams fighting for 4 spots in Region 26, and Marion is one of those. They lose this game, then they go on to play a couple lesser teams to end up the season, which doesn't amount to many points. So this is a big game for them, almost, as you said, with Versailles, kind of got a playoff feel to it, because they got to win, or really important for them to win to keep their chances alive to make it into the postseason.
Yeah, that's certainly one game they'll want to win, and it's kind of crazy that you're saying that with them being undefeated right now, but that's certainly the case.
Like TK said, it's all about the quality of win, Craig. You're talking about a team here, Marion Local Flyers, who, when they're healthy, probably the top team in the state in Division 7, and they're borderline if they could make the playoffs or not. And anything can happen. But, it's an interesting way that they figure the rankings there. But, that's the OHSAA system, and it works.
All right. Well, listen, that's going to do it for our first half of our show tonight. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to be talking some cross country, some Russia girls cross country, and a couple interviews that you won't want to miss.
gave up on me. I can't say that I blame her. She just got tired of playing a losing game. I should suck on my pride and beg that girl to come back home. Deep down I know she's better off, 'cause fools like me are meant to die alone. Someone give me one good reason, one good reason to smile. I'm trying to be that guy my mother prayed that I would be. Some days I feel like hit the mark, some days I fail hopelessly. I think I'm alright, I just stumble from time to time. Oh, my mother knows I'm trying to be that guy.
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live, everyone. Ken, at the top of the show, you asked me a trivia question. I actually have a did you know for you. Did you know that our last guest there, Adam Miller, I just found this out this afternoon, is actually the brother-in-law to one of our good buddies up there in Bakken, the head coach of the girls pro basketball program, Don Mack.
Craig, I did not know that, but that's great that they're related, brother-in-laws, and I'm sure they talk a lot of coaching during the holidays.
Yeah, a lot of coaching strategy. Two different sports there, but yeah.
Yeah, but still coaches. So.
All right. Well, listen, another thing I mentioned at the top of the show was that we're going to be covering girls cross country, Russia girls cross country for the first time this season. Really look forward to that, and we got a chance to talk to those girls last night. They're getting ready to start another postseason tournament run, aren't they?
Yeah, the Russia girls cross country program, very similar to the boys, has just been a dynasty, if you would, lately. They've been running very well. They've just continued to reload with new talent every year, Craig. You can go back to Katie Borchers and Lauren Francis, and now you've got Emily Borchers, Lauren Heaton, Molly Kearns, and the list just goes on and on and on. So it's, their junior high programs are strong. And it's just Coach Foster has done a great job with them, and we had a lot of fun talking to the girls the other night, Craig. And it's all about the team gelling right now and getting maximum performance the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, we did a little feature on the girls, and like you said, we got a chance to talk to them last night. And let's check out the video and see what they had to say.
The Russia girls cross country team is having another outstanding season. Having run in 8 meets so far this year, the Lady Raiders have won 6 of those meets, including last Saturday's Shelby County League Championship. The girls actually haven't been beat by anyone in over 2 months, dating back to the Tiffin Carnival on September 7th. The team is led by 2 All-Ohio runners in junior Emily Borchers and sophomore Lauren Heaton, and sophomore Molly Kearns is as dependable as they come, running in the number 3 spot. Seniors Kirsten Voizard and Emily Frazier, along with sophomores Claudia Monin and Carissa Voizard, round out the Lady Raiders postseason team that will be aiming to defend last year's district title this Saturday when they run in Clayton. The girls cross country program has built up quite a tradition at Russia, and make no mistake about it, the Lady Raiders' ultimate goal is to get back to the state meet and improve upon last year's 4th place finish. It won't be easy, but this team of veterans is up to the challenge. We asked the girls a few questions about their season so far, and this is what they had to say.
Fish Report Live here with Russia junior Emily Borchers. And Emily, you've had a very good season so far. You've actually won 6 out of the 8 races that you've competed in. Ironically, though, the one race that you've had your best time in is a race that you finished 3rd in, the Tiffin Carnival. You ran in 18:57 there. How did that happen, and how low would you like to go this postseason?
Well, at Tiffin, there's a lot of good competition and a lot of fast times there. So you just try to stay with the front of the pack and see how low your time can get. I like to get as low as possible in the 18s. I don't know. School record is 18:37. I like to lower that a little bit.
We're here with Russia sophomore Lauren Heaton. And Lauren, being healthy is part of any successful team. I know you've had some nagging injuries that have been bothering you the last several weeks. As one of Russia's top runners, how do you decide when rest is best or maybe when to run through something that's been bothering you?
Well, in the beginning, I started off with an injury in my right knee with a growth plate, and I didn't want to have any injuries for the postseason, so I just took 2 weeks off, which was the best for me. And then now we're in postseason, and it's got my legs all healthy, but now I've been dealing with some allergy sickness for about a few weeks now, so I just really got to push through it and help my team through this.
We're here with Russia sophomore Molly Kearns. And Molly, you were one of the key runners on the state team last year. When I look at the teams around the state this year, it looks like roughly the same good teams still at the top. You've got teams like Gilmore Academy, Liberty Center, locally Coldwater and Minster. Let me ask you, do you pay attention to what those teams are doing? Is that part of your homework, or is that considered bad luck?
Personally, yeah, I usually look at some of the top times around this area just to see where I'm at, but it's hard to compare because courses are different and competition really changes things.
All right, Chris and Claudia, one term you hear in cross country a lot is the term pack running. That's where you run with your teammates and try to push each other to faster times. I want to ask both of you girls, is that something that you practice at all?
Yes, we practice pack running. Like in practices, we always stay together and we know we can talk through it and push each other. So then in races, when we do it, we can actually push each other. And if like somebody falls behind, they know that if they can push themselves, that we can all stay together.
Well, she makes it sound easy, Claudia. Is it easier said than done?
Yeah, we encourage each other throughout the race, and we know it's going to help our team score in the end. So.
All right, we're here with the two seniors, Emily Frazier and Kirsten Voizard. Girls, this is it. You're the two seniors left on this postseason team. That has to be one motivating factor for you when you're out there. I want to ask, though, besides being a senior, what else motivates you to leave it all out on the course?
Well, being a senior, it's kind of my last shot, but it's also kind of a first chance for me because I've never been on varsity. So that's pretty motivating.
And Kirsten, what about you? What besides being a senior, what makes you want to leave it all out on the course?
I would say my teammates, because you run with them and you train with them all this summer and fall. So whenever you're out there, if someone else is having a bad day, you can usually tell. So you want to pick it up, or knowing they'll do the same thing for you. Plus, it's always nice knowing that if you work hard out there, you can go home and it justifies you eating a bowl or two of ice cream.
Ken, that was a great answer there. Isn't that why we all run? So we can go home and eat ice cream?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the main reasons I always run. Why not?
Well, listen, I mistakenly called Claudia Mon, and they're a sophomore. She's actually a junior. She's been around a little longer than I thought she was. But, Ken, I mentioned some of those. Rushi's ranked number 7 in the state right now. But some of those teams I mentioned to Molly there, your Gilmore Academy, Liberty Center, Coldwater, Minster, to name a few, are ahead of the Raiders. And, we saw those same teams at the top last year. I want to ask you, what is it going to take for Rushi to get on that level?
Well, last year, Craig, Rushi came in, I think we were ranked 5th in the state. We actually ended up finishing 4th. And, you look at those teams ahead of us, Craig, and it was actually a lot of the success deals with you got to have front runners. And Rushi's got a couple very, very good front runners. Then it's all about pack running in the end. And, that's Rushi's biggest fault right now is the fact that they've got too many gaps. If they can close them gaps and get the top 5 or 6 girls under the 2015 mark, I think they got a great shot of winning it.
I talked to some coaches last year at the state meet, and I asked, what it takes to get to win a state championship. And I had a couple of people tell me that, somebody has to pull off something big. We saw that last year with Liberty Center. I think their number 3 runner knocked like 45 seconds off of regional time, which is phenomenal at that level. And you know what? We saw that with the Rushi boys team last week at the county. Caleb Ball broke 17. He hadn't done it all season, and he actually did it at the county meet. I think you need something like that too. Somebody that really just steps it up.
Yeah, you need the stars all got to be lined up right, Craig, to win a state championship, really in any sport. And cross country is no different. Like you said, the boys did it at the Shelby County League meet last week. Their top runner, Jordan Grogine, unfortunately went down with a little injury, and he's hoping to come back. But the other boys seen it actually happen. They picked up their pace, and they actually pack ran extremely well. When you look at the boys, Russia boys pack run very well, and that's what got them that championship last week. So yeah, for the Russia girls to do something special, Craig, they're going to need to pull off something special at the state meet. Getting to state, to be honest with you, as long as they run well and stay healthy, should not be a problem. And getting a state championship here in Russia is a very good possibility. But somebody, one or two girls, is going to have to do something extremely special.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and like you said, the pack running as well. Those are two things that they're going to have to happen here in the next couple of weeks for them to pull something like that off. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for our cross country talk. Just one more bit of sports news. I want to get to a little volleyball action, and for our Russia viewers out there, I want to kind of look at the Russia tournament trail, and for that, I'd like to go back to the sound room again. There, let's start out with Heavy D. There, let's look at the Russia bracket, and can you tell me what they got to look forward to here the next couple games?
I'll take this one for Heavy D.
Okay.
He's busy running the boards. Russia picked a pretty good bracket to get into. Made a good draw. Easy game the other night against Xenia Christian. This Saturday going up against Riverside. Obviously, from the record, doesn't look like there'll be much competition. Of course, the girls will have to show up, but I think they'll do that. Mechanicsburg, I think that'll give them a little bit more of a fight, but hopefully they will remember last year in the basketball season. Anybody may remember that. Mechanicsburg pulled a little bit of an upset against the Raiders in basketball and knocked them out of the tournament. So they keep themselves in line and focused. They should make it through the bracket and see who comes out at the end there for the Troy 1 section.
And if they can win that Troy sectional, then they have to play the winner of the Tip City sectional, I believe. And let's take a quick look at that, guys. I see that Fairlawn and Jackson Center are actually in the finals this Saturday. Fairlawn's pulled off a couple wins. Any chance they could, pull off the upset and beat Jackson?
It's, both teams are going to show up. They got Coach Wade Wilhelm back again as coach of Fairlawn. So, Fairlawn's competitive. They've got a couple nice young players in the mix there, and Jackson's young also. It'll be a good fight.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that. Like I said, Russia's got a sectional semifinal game on Saturday, whereas the Fairlawn-Jackson final is on Saturday. And looking forward to seeing the results in that. All right, well, that's going to do it for a little bit of volleyball talk. And Ken, before we close the show tonight, do have to get back to that trivia question you asked me at the beginning of the show. I do want to mention, though, we have a correction, I guess, from last week's trivia question, don't we?
Yeah, we do, Craig. I owe a big shout out to Russia alum Andy Grillo. I spoke with Andy Grillo Saturday at the Shelby County League cross country meet. He was one of the options last week, Craig, as far as which boy finished the highest ever in the state cross country meet. I gave the correct answer as Derek Bornhorst. You had thought it was Mitchell Hoyne. Well, unfortunately, Craig, it sounds like we were both wrong. The correct answer was back in 1982. Andy Grillo from Russia actually finished 6th in the state meet. So congratulations, Andy. I hope you're listening to us out there, and I apologize for the mistake last week.
Well, to your credit, I don't know if do they have records back that far?
I don't think so.
You just had to go off Andy's word.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're going off of Andy's word right there, but he's always been a good man for his word, so I believe him.
All right, and let's get to tonight's trivia question.
All right, tonight's trivia question, Craig, was how many state championships have the Versailles Tigers won in football?
All right.
Pretty cut and dry answer. How many state championships have they won?
I sent this question out on Twitter. I got a fair amount of response. If you're on the Fish Report Live page, you can see on the Twitter box there, I got a number of responses, 6, 7, and 8. So I got 3 options there. I got Heavy D making faces at me there on the monitor, holding up his hands, but
I will give you a clue. It is one of them 3, and I was shocked that it was more than that it was 6 or more.
All right, well that eliminates Heavy D's answer of 5. He's holding up a 5 back there. One of the Twitter answers is a guy by the name of T. Bergman, and I think he was a player on one of those state teams. I would hope that a guy that played on one of those state teams would know the answer to this. He says 6. Ken, that's going to be my answer, 6.
You don't mess around. The answer is 6. Good job, T. Bergman. The Versailles Tigers have won 6 state championships. I'm not for sure how many of those were under Coach Al Hetrick, but maybe all of them. I'm not for sure, Craig, but it was in 1990, then a nice run of 93, 94, 95, 98, and 03. So pretty impressive history there for Tiger Ball.
It certainly is. And I'm glad we finally got to talk Tiger Ball. After 3 seasons, we finally got to it.
Well, we have a lot of listeners out there tonight and appreciate all that. And, it was good talking Tiger Ball football.
All right, and I think we do have one more shout-out before we close the show tonight. Let's go back to the sound room one more time. Guys, what do you got?
Yeah, TK's been running the telemetrics on Fish Report Live, and maybe first time, Fraser Bottom, West Virginia. How about ya? Watching us on live tonight on the show. Couple friends in Fraser Bottom, West Virginia.
Do they have a zip code there? I've
There
never
is-
heard of the place.
There's a mailbox, and that's about all you got.
All
You got
right.
the Hannah High School Wildcats out there at Fraser Bottom, so
They're tuning in tonight, huh?
I hope so.
Good
They're
people.
supposed to be.
Good people in Fraser Bottom.
All right, listen, well, as we close the show, I guess we'll say thanks to the folks in Fraser Bottom for watching us tonight. Special thanks to Coach Miller for joining us tonight, and thanks to the Arooshie girls cross country team for talking with us last night. Ken and I and the crew will all be back again next week, same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week, and good night, everyone. Oh, there's no close.